Okay, in this tutorial we'll look at putting a camera into the scene and how to create animation. So the camera button is under where the lights are. So first we'll put some geometry into the scene to help us understand how things move about. So I'm just going to set up a few boxes and play. So the principle of a camera is exactly the same as a normal camera or a video camera. It has field of view and all sorts of other things, and it can move between points, as can all objects. So this is a general introduction to animation as well. So if you just get your scene with a few objects that you can use to look around. Okay, so now I'm just going to show you, actually I'm just going to quickly go into full viewport. Okay, and now if I add a camera to the scene, you can see that the green rectangle represents where the camera is looking. So at the top you've got the actual camera, and then that pyramid shape coming off it is the field of view and where the camera is looking to. So from a top view and looking down onto. So in a perspective window you can see it's looking down onto those cubes. And it's as simple as that. If I move the camera, you can see it moving closer to those objects, and you can go to a perspective view, pull out from there and see where the camera is situated in comparison to the other objects. So if I go to cameras in the perspective, scene cameras and camera, this will actually lock that perspective view to the camera. So now when I move the camera, it will move it along in the perspective as well. So this is how we're changing the view in the perspective view using the camera, and I can actually do it directly in the perspective view. And you can see as I'm rotating these things, it changes the camera. Okay, now we're going to have a look at how to create some animation. So the animation is done on a timeline on the bottom, and these represent frames, and they're 25 frames a second. So you have the keyframe, which is represented by the key, and the record. So if I click the record on, you can see that the perspective window has a red box around it. Now this means that everything I do in the scene will be captured. So there's the red box. So this is almost like a record state. So what I'm going to do is add keyframes to the timeline. So these are points of reference that objects will move between. So everything in between these two objects. So if I click a keyframe, add it at 0, then move the timeline, then move the object, and then click another keyframe, that's given it 2 points of reference, another keyframe, between 0 and 50. So I'm taking it off record, and you can see it's represented. Between those two yellow dots there's a blue line, and that's the path of the movement. So if I go back to 0, you can see, and press play, you can see the camera moving in. So by clicking on the perspective view, we can view the movement in the perspective view. So it's going between keyframe number 0 and 50 for the camera, showing the movement that's created.